Wow, Kola, Madrid just fired, like we just fired Shabby Alunso. This is out of left field. Never saw this coming, although he's been on pressure recently, but I thought the performances they've improved somewhat. And I wasn't expecting us to go this route. What's happening?
It's probably a case of player power, man. Player power
Um,
has won
mhm.
because it is not in such a bad situation that is not salvageable. I think you guys are seventh in Champions League, second in La Liga. Okay, fine, you lost against Barcelona, which typically spells like a bad
Is there a
omen.
recipe for firing?
Yes, yes. But is it justified? That's a question we need to ask. This is first season in definitely the biggest football club in the world that comes with a lot of pressure, a dressing room with a lot of ego. So I'm not sure it's justified. So you are the Madrid fan, yeah. So you tell me.
Well, I can see you can make cases for him being fired and for him to have remained our coach. There are some people out there who believe that the players haven't followed or listened to the Shabby Alonso style,
What is
which
that?
my response to them would be, what is his style?
Yep. What is Alonso?
In 6 months, I haven't been able to point to something that is unique to Xabi Alonso as a Real Madrid coach. I saw some of that with him at Bayern Leverkusen. Some of his ideas were very obvious to see. He liked playing the three at the back with those front tailing wing players.
You don't have
But
the
then
players to play that.
Madrid, you don't have the players to play that. And I was expecting that a player with Xabi Alonso's stature and status in world football, he's one of the legends of the sport. He's one of the
Yep.
goats of the sport.
Yep.
I was expecting him to handle the man management part of being a Real Madrid coach better than he did. Some of the things he was doing at the beginning of his reign at Madrid, bro, he was benching Rodrigo for Mastantuono, a 17 or 18-year-old dude from Argentina. That was so mind-boggling. And like for me, his reign at Madrid was just above average. Now,
So my question for you will be, what would you classify as a successful season based on the tools that Madrid have currently?
it's no news that the team we currently have seem a little imbalanced. That's a fact. We know that. But within the confines of what you have, I believe we are good enough to win a league. In fact,
You think you have a better starting 11 than Barcelona in terms of balance?
that's not what I believe. I believe we have a team that can go win a league title. Maybe the UCL, maybe no, because you'd meet the Bayerns, the Man City down the line, the
Would you
Arsenal down the line.
say it's easier to navigate a 10 Champions League game than a 38 league season?
So going off of what happened to us last season, where there was a point in that last season with Carlo, we had a 10-point lead. We relinquished that lead and lost the league by 4 points.
Correct. That's a
This
14
season,
point swing.
that's a 14-point swing. This season, there was a
You've done
point
the
we were
same thing.
5 points ahead on the table. That 5 points ahead, we hadn't played Barca yet. We lost that, and currently we are, let's see, we are 4 points behind Barca. That's a 9-point swing. And in the middle of all of that, we've beaten Barca 2-1 in the league.
Yeah, when they were having their bad moments.
That's my point. So,
Yes.
like, again, when you look at it from the macro level, there is a reason to believe that Xavi has performed way below expectations.
Yeah, but Ancelotti did the same thing last season.
Again,
At what point do you look at the playing squad and say, maybe, just maybe, and I'm just putting this out there to you,
okay,
maybe the playing squad, especially, not just, don't look at the individual quality of the players, right? Look at the tools when those tools come together. At what point do you say this playing squad might not just be good enough to win the
listen,
league? To win the league
that's
against
a
Barcelona.
fair argument. If at no point during the season we went top of the league, I would say, okay, fine, maybe that's the case. But my point is, consistently, we would find ourselves atop the league
And
and then
four.
and fall.
Yeah, but think
Now,
about it.
you could also say we've been riddled with a lot of injuries. That's
Yeah,
fair.
but what is the most important ingredient in winning league titles.
You have to remain consistent for 38 weeks.
And what is the thing that you guys haven't had in the last 2 years? Your
Yes.
players go
At
through
what
this.
point do we say, okay, these coaches are responsible for that?
Yeah, but 2 years back to back, one of the most highly rated young coaches in world football, Alonso, has come into that dressing room and has not been able to pull out consistent performance out of key players. Example would be that Jude Bellingham, who you and I rate as one of the most exceptional midfield players in the world, has not been able to play consistently, either through injuries. Last season, he had the injured shoulder and he was riddled with some niggling injuries throughout the season. And now this season, the same thing. He didn't start the season because he was injured, and you haven't been able to pull that consistency out of him. Kamavinga, highly rated player, never stays fit. Tchouameni hasn't been at the level required to play at the level of Real Madrid. He hasn't shown that level. Your defense, chop and change. Kamavinga, Carvajal come in, out, in, out. He's been injured the last 2 years. You signed a very good player to replace him in Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's been injured. You bought a left back who supposed to have a time to adjust your playing style because you
Yes.
have two left backs in front of him. In Alaba, who can play centre back, left back. Who's the other guy? Mendy, who's supposed to be your mainstay as left back. Both have been injured throughout the season. Listen, young player, you can't get consistency out of young defenders. The other guy, Asensio, simply, there's a lot of problems for a young coach to come into that dressing room
And I am saying to you,
and navigate those issues.
all of the things you are saying, you are correct. I am saying to you, when those issues are there, maintaining the relationship, maintaining stability, now, I'm saying to you that Shabby Alunso at the start of the season appeared to have created an vibe, an energy in the dressing room where some players felt, bro, why are you constantly taking me off?
Yeah, like Rodrigo
I
barely
felt
played.
like he created problems for himself right from the outset that led to his eventual demise. I mean, he's not dead, but his eventual departure from Madrid.
Yeah, but is the reason for this firing because the team is underperforming or because he's had some clashes with key players in dressing room?
I
What
think
do you
it's
think?
both. I think it's both. Think it's both.
I don't
Because again,
I
even
believe you guys
against
are not.
Barca yesterday, we lost. But I didn't feel like we didn't play well. We could have gotten the draw and went to penalties, and anything could have happened.
Yes, that's true. You guys were
Like,
good.
so
Yes,
again, I
yes.
don't think these people who make these decisions they are stupid. Again, for a club like Madrid, when you come into Madrid, you're not just coming to Madrid to bring your ideas or your tactics. No, these are players who have won back to back to back to back at Madrid.
I think that might
They've
be the
won a
main
lot.
problem. The main
But my
problem
point
might
is, one of your major responsibilities as a Real Madrid coach is number one, maintain the unity of that squad. That's very important. There's a lot of politics that goes on in Madrid, but the point is, you have to insulate your players, keep the cohesiveness in that team, in that group, keep it intact, and then every other thing would go the way they do. But the moment you have a Rodrigo sitting on the bench for weeks while having to watch Mastantuono play. Mastantuono is 17 years old.
so
You have
I
to constantly play. You have to constantly play Kylian Mbappe as a number 9. When it looks like whenever we play with him as our number 9, it just doesn't look right.
yeah, but what is the option? Who does it
The
drop?
option
Does it drop for in the team? He's already dropping Rodrigo in the beginning of the season for
exactly.
Masantuano.
Again, if you
Garcia was
as a
injured.
coach,
Yeah.
okay,
Who does it drop? What is your ideal starting 11?
bro, that question you just asked was my argument from the beginning of the season. Madrid is too big a club to not have an idea about their constant starting 11. At the beginning of the season, it just mixes and mashes teams.
Because
And I'm like, yo,
you and I can say for a fact Barcelona starting 11 where everybody's fit. Lewandowski, Rafinha,
yes,
Lamine,
we know it. We
Pedri,
know it.
De Jong, and maybe Dani Olmo or one other person.
Yes,
Their defense is going to be
yes.
Balde, Kunde, what are two young guys? I forgot the center back's name, and the young
Kubasi
Spanish Kubasi and the other guy,
and
and the young Spanish goalkeeper. Madrid, Courtois, these are the people who always start. Courtois, Vini, Mbappe. Adagula looked like he was a starter at the beginning of the season, but I don't know about now. Maybe
Pameni
because
is also going to start.
because that's the only profile you have in the team that could play as a lone six. That's the only reason Tremaine starts.
bro.
It's not because he's merited the start. It's because there's nobody else with a similar profile of him in the squad. I don't think he's good enough.
Yes.
It's indicated that he might not be good enough to play for Real Madrid. But that's a different
Yeah.
conversation. My issue is I think Alonso has made a lot of mistakes. But I personally, and I might be wrong, don't I think your players have dropped a level in the last 12 to 18 months, and they've not been able to get even close to the level required or the level that they've been before, i.e., Jude Bellingham, i.e., Vinicius Jr. Maybe Mbappe scores, right? But it doesn't look that consistency of performance, that replication of consistency when it comes to this is how we create chances, this is how we play. Like during when you had Oselu and you had Vini on the left and the other guy on the right, you guys had a consistency of Bellingham crashing the box, of Vini peeling off the last like yesterday, the game yesterday, that run of Vini against Kunde to isolate Kunde every time. I haven't seen that all season. Where you
Again,
find a way to isolate Vini, I haven't seen that.
I think the coach dropped the ball, asserting himself as a collaborator with these guys. I think he dropped the ball. I
So
like. I
what is it? What
respect.
I know you're frustrated now. What is the
I respect
expectation for
Alonso so
Arbeloa?
much that I was so happy when the news of his hiring came out, and I was like, "Yo, this is a footballing human being. This is a footballing person." And to see that
It's a big
7
job,
months
bro.
later,
It's a big job. It
it's
might come. Maybe
gone
the job
this
is too
awry.
early for him. No, no, no. Maybe the job is too early for him because he went from Bayer Leverkusen, where he's a god, right? Because what he did for them was almost unheard of, and now he's going into the dressing room of Real Madrid. He's coming in as, oh, I've won, I'm a winner. Now I'm in this new dressing room where everybody has won, and they might not be listening to me the way I thought they would listen to me, right? It doesn't have the stature of like a Zidane, and Zidane looks like somebody who
I think
collab.
it does. That's the problem. I think it does.
Yeah, but
He's a World Cup winner, bro.
yeah, I know. Sometimes things don't work out, right? Let's just put it that way. We don't know.
Yes,
We don't have all
I'm
the
saying.
details.
I'm saying his footballing credentials
It's
are.
up there with the best in the world.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
So what does
I would
Abeloa do
expect him
for
to
you?
get.
Let's talk about Abeloa because Abeloa has been announced as his replacement. What is the expectation for Abeloa? What is his credential for him to get his job?
You know what's funny? In my weird brain, I think Abelwa might just walk. I
What was
swear.
Abeloa's role initially? Was he Madrid's under 21 coach?
It was watching the Castilla
But
team,
yeah,
Madrid team
so he
B.
probably has internal insight into the malaise that has happened between Shabby Alunso and the players.
In fact,
That
that's my
might
point.
do him well.
That is one. And another number two would be I think he has a calmer demeanor where he's not looking to just assert his ideas,
Dominance, yeah.
but just tries to work within the thing, within the structure he has, and
Yeah,
try to bring out the best.
don't overthink
Because
it,
like
right?
at some point, whoever the coach is, if your ideas get to the players and they begin to tune you out,
It's gonna be
you are going
difficult
to
to yeah.
you are going to be. They can't replace 22 players.
Yes.
They'll replace
Especially when you have like 3 or 4 players who are key players in the team and you're having problems
exactly.
with them. If it's just one player, okay,
Yeah.
maybe you can say the player is the bad egg. But when you have three, four,
And
five
that's one of the
players,
things that Zidane did so perfectly when he became our coach, where he managed, bro. Listen, there's a reason Zidane is my goat, but
it was a perfect
like
fit for the team you had.
he managed everything,
And most of
and
the
as
players he then had are not players that need development. So they're already good players. They know how to play football. You're not talking
exactly,
about
and
Hendrick.
he
You're not talking about
managed the
are you
egos,
are you
the
gonna teach
temperament.
Ronaldo or Bale how to play football? But you
No,
know,
he managed all, and I was expecting that when Xavi comes in, sprinkle some of your ideas, but do more managing than actual coaching or teaching. Now you should teach, but like when you see patterns that are that you need to correct them.
yeah.
But bro, manage your team, like manage them, let them feel.
Manage the
I don't know.
the emotional state of your team, the psychological profile.
Yes,
of your team. Know what
Yes.
works. Know how to push
I
Vini without
I
alienating those
believe
players.
that's my point. I believe that we don't have a perfect team. We don't,
Yes.
not by any stretch. We don't have a balanced team. But in
You can get
spite
more
of
out
that,
of
I
them.
think
Yeah.
you could have gotten more out of them.
Yes.
That's just the
I
point I'm
agree.
making.
I completely agree.